Order of business. Clerk can confirm. Okay, so clerk has confirmed that quorum is present. Now, order of business.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, it is within your knowledge that the County Assembly will be proceeding for its test from 7 April 2023 to 9 May 2023 as per the approved calendar for the third County Assembly second session. Honorable members, the County Treasury submitted to the County Assembly the subject document on 28 February 2013, and the same was laid on the floor of the House and the Committee on Budget and Appropriation on 16 March 2023. Honorable members, the Budget and Appropriation Committee has been considered the County Fiscal Strategy paper for the financial year 2023-2024. The County Assembly submitted County Fiscal Strategy paper, the County Integrated Development Plan, the CIDB and the ADB to the public participation as obligated under the Article 196(1) of the Constitution and Section 87 of the County Government Act 2012 on 3rd, 4th, and 5th April 2023. Honorable members, Section 117(1) on Public Finance Management Act of 2017 provides that the County Treasury shall prepare and submit to the County Executive Committee the County Fiscal Strategy paper for the approvals, and the County Treasury shall submit the approval fiscal strategy paper to County Assembly by 28 February of each year. Additionally, Section 117, Section 6 of PFM Act requires that not later than 14 days after submitting the County Fiscal Strategy paper to the County Assembly, the County Assembly shall consider and adopt it or without amendment. The provision is related under Standing Order 209 Section 7 of County Assembly Standing Order, with obligation that the County Assembly to approve the County Fiscal Strategy within 14 days of submission by the County Treasury. This implies that the County Assembly ought to have approved the County Fiscal Strategy by 14 March 2023, but the County Assembly had adjourned its business for the purpose of vetting and approval of CC and the CC County Attorney and the Chief Officer's nominees. It is important to note that the committee has generated a report and is ready for debate. Honorable members, for reasons that the County Assembly has not approved the County Fiscal Strategy paper within the required statutory timelines, and considered it that the House will be adjourning for recess from 6 April to 9 May of 2023. It is prudent and mandatory that its report be dispensed with in this sitting, so that any recommendation by the House will inform the County Treasury in budget preparation. Considering the ground raised above, I implore to this House to dispense with the report today. Secondly, communication on the motion of adoption of lands, environment, and natural resources report on progress of implementation of water project in Nandi County. The committee is hereby directed to fast-track the concerns built on issues raised by the members in respect to the report during the recess period. Failure to which, the Speaker shall put the question on the motion in accordance to Standing Order 53.3 without further reference to the Committee on Lands. 3. Communication on attendance to House and committee sittings. Honorable members, I wish to communicate with respect to attendance at the sitting of the Committee Assembly and those of committee by honorable members. I therefore bring to attention the provision of the standing orders as regard to attendance of the members of the County Assembly sittings and committee. Standing Order 233 demands as that if during any session a member is absent for 8 consecutive sittings of the County Assembly without permission, in writing from the Speaker shall report the matter to the County Assembly, and the matter shall stand referred to the Committee of the Privileges for hearing and determination. 2, the Committee of Privileges shall inquire into a matter referred to under paragraph 1 within 14 days from the date the matter is referred to, and it shall therefore thereupon submit a report to the County Assembly. 3, if the report of the committee finds that the member has offered a satisfactory explanation for the member's absence from 8 sittings on the County Assembly without permission in writing from the Speaker, there shall be no further proceeding in the County Assembly in respect of the matter. 4, if the report of the County Assembly finds that the member has not offered a satisfactory explanation for the member's absence from the 8 consecutive sittings of the County Assembly under paragraph 1, the chairperson of the committee or a member of a committee designated by the committee for that purpose shall, upon submitting the report, give 3 days notice on the motion that the County Assembly knows that the report on the Committee of the Privileges laid on the table of the County Assembly on regarding with necessary modification. 5, motion under paragraph 4 shall be debated in usual manner of a debate motion, except that no amendment shall be permitted to the motion. B, the debate on the motion shall not be anticipated by the motion for adjourning of the County Assembly, and no dilatory motion shall be moved in relation to the business, and the business shall not be interrupted under any standing order. 6, at any conclusion of the debate on the motion under paragraph 4, the Speaker shall not put question, but shall declare that pursuant on Standing Order 94-1B on the Constitution, the office of the member concerned has become vacant. Honorable members, Article 194-1B of the Constitution provides that the office of the member of the County Assembly becomes vacant if the member is absent from 8 sittings of the County Assembly without permission in writing and is unable to offer satisfactory explanation for the absent. Honorable members, the provision of the law are enforced, and each member is advised at this earliest opportunity of concerns of breaching the law in regard to attendance to the County Assembly. The office of the Speaker will impose sanctions provided for under the law for non-attendance by the member of the County Assembly sitting for such manner of times as prescribed by the law. Honorable members, our standing order also provides for the sanction failure to attend committee meetings. Standing Order 170 of the County Assembly's standing order provides that 1, if a member fails to attend 4 consecutive sittings of a committee without written permission of the chairperson of the committee or permission of the Speaker, if the member is a chairperson, the chairperson or the Speaker may be notified the committee of a failure. 2, the committee, having noted the notification under paragraph 1, may resolve that a member or a chairperson, as in case may be suspended from the membership of that committee, and under the matter be reported to the County Assembly Business Committee. 3, upon the receipt of the report under paragraph 2, the Committee Assembly Business Committee shall consider the matter, and in consultation with the Selection Committee shall propose a replacement of a member for the approval by the County Assembly. Committees are extension of the House whose creation is mandated by Section 14 of the County Assembly Government Act of 2012. Just as a failure to attend the 8th sitting of the House may lead to vacation of a member's seat, the House thought its fit sanctions that the discharge of the member who fails to attend 4 consecutive sittings of a committee without permission or sufficient reason. Honorable members, as regards the progress of the House in regard to committee reports, bills, and motions, the relevant trackers are available on the website, and a soft copy has been shared with you. Thank you, Honorable Sang, Deputy Speaker, Nandi County Assembly. That's the communication, Honorable members. Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order. Okay, Honorable Gorir.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to table a report on the Nandi County Fiscal Strategy paper for the year 2023-2024 laid before the House, and I proceed to do so.
Thank you, Honorable Gorir. Next order. Okay, Honorable Gorir. What's your members? You need to go solely low toll. Honorable members. Okay. Thank you, Honorable Chairman Budget. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Honorable Gorir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish or arise to give notice of motion on that the House adopts the report of the Nandi County Budget and Appropriations Committee on the Nandi County Fiscal Strategy Paper, financial year 2023-2024.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Next order.
Order number 8, motion.
Honorable Gorir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish, Mr. Speaker, to move a motion that this House adopts the report of County Budget and Appropriation Committee on the Nandi County Fiscal Strategy paper for the financial year 2023-2024. And I hereby wish to call upon the Honorable Leader of Majority to second. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Chair and the Honorable Majority. Honorable members, I therefore propose that this House adopt the report of the County Budget and Appropriation Committee on the Nandi County Fiscal Strategy paper for the year 2023-2024 be discussed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Gorir, I've given you the opportunity the other time to read that report. Then now I proposed, but now as a Speaker's discretion, I'll give you time only to move the report so that we'll move the members to discuss as you follow the other members. So, Honorable Gorir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your protection. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Select Committee on Budget and Appropriation is established pursuant to Standing Order number 189, subsection 1, and is mandated under subsection 3, among others, to investigate, inquire into, report on all matters related to coordination, control, and monitoring of county budget, to evaluate tax estimates, economic and budgetary policies, and programs, including budget performance with direct budget outlays. Mr. Speaker, sir, on behalf of members of the Budget and Appropriation Committee, and as per Section 117 of the PFM Act 2012, as read together with Nandi County Assembly Standing Order 209, subsection 4, it is my pleasure to present to the House the committee's report on consideration of the Nandi County Fiscal Strategy paper for the financial year 2023-2024. Committee membership. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Standing Order number 189, subsection 2 provides that the Select Committee on the Budget and Appropriation shall comprise of the chairperson and not more than 6 other members. The committee is comprised of the following 7 members of County Assembly. Number 1, Honorable Edwin Kipchumba Korir, chairperson. Number 2, Honorable John Kiprotich Keter, vice chairperson. Honorable Walter Kiblaga Teno, member. Honorable Wilson Kipkirui Sang, member. Honorable Trufosa Kuto, member. Honorable Lucy Chepkemei, member, and Honorable Julius Kibruto Keter, member. Committee mandate. The Standing Order number 189, subsection 3, establishes the Budget and Appropriation Committee with specific mandate to, 1, investigate, inquire into the report on matters related to coordination, control, and monitoring of the county budget. 2, discuss and review the estimates made and make recommendations to the County Assembly. And 4, examine the bills related to the county budget, including appropriations bill. And lastly, evaluate tax estimates, economy, and budgetary policies and programs with direct budget outlays. Acknowledgements and the affirmation. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee would like to appreciate all those who provided it possible to prepare this report. A special gratitude goes to the offices of the Speaker and that of the Clerk of the County Assembly for the unwavering support the committee has been receiving, which is very vital in the running of its affairs and mandates as far as budget process is concerned. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee would also wish to extend its gratitude to the County Executive Technical Team of officers from the Treasury, headed by the County Executive Committee member in charge of Finance and Economic Planning, who were involved together with the committee in its entire process of harmonization of ceilings for the county government entities. Mr. Speaker, sir, not to be forgotten also is that I would like to thank the members and the technical team attached to this committee who were involved in preparation of this report for their unwavering support and persistent dedication to the subject matter to ensure that all the contents of this paper is in line with the statutory provisions as well as completed within the stipulated time as directed by the Speaker's communication. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is now my pleasure, duty, and privilege on behalf of the Select Committee on Budget and Appropriations to present to this House the report of the Select Committee on the Budget and Appropriations on County Fiscal Strategy Paper for the financial year 2023-2024. We, honorable members of the Committee on Budget and Appropriation, do hereby affirm and fix our signatures to this report, which was done today, dated 6th of 4th, 2023. You will realize that a third of the members did their affirmation. We were having 2 of them on the apology, they were not around, but that is their third. 3/4 of the members did their affirmation. Background and summary. Mr. Speaker, sir, the provisions of 117 of the Public Management PFM Act 2012 inter alia provides that the County Treasury shall prepare and submit to the County Executive Committee the County Fiscal Strategy Paper for their approval, and the County Treasury shall submit the approved fiscal strategy paper to the County Assembly by the 28th February of each year. In this provided that under the same provision of the law, not later than 14 days after submission of the County Fiscal Strategy Paper to the County Assembly, the County Assembly shall consider and may adopt it with or without amendments. In compliance, therefore, the County Executive Member CECM in charge of Finance and Economic Planning submitted the Nandi CFSP for financial year 2023-2024 on the 28th of February 2023. However, it was not possible for the Assembly as required by the Section 117, subsection 6 of PFM Act, to consider it within the statutory timelines, since the Assembly was on a short recess on March 2023. In preparation of the County Fiscal Strategy Paper, the County Treasury shall align its County Fiscal Strategy Paper with the national objectives in the Budget Policy Statement. In preparing the County Fiscal Strategy Paper, the County Treasury shall specify the broad strategic priorities and policy goals that would guide the county government in preparing its budget for coming financial year and over the medium term. Mr. Speaker, sir, the County Treasury shall include its County Fiscal Strategy Paper, the financial outlook with respect to county government revenues, expenditures, and borrowing for the coming financial year and over the medium term. In preparing the County Fiscal Strategy Paper, the County Treasury shall seek and take into account the following views. Views on the Commission on Revenue Allocation, the public, any interested persons or groups, and any other forum that is established by legislation. Mr. Speaker, sir, it goes without saying that once the County Assembly approves the motion on the report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on CFSP financial year 2023-2024, it will constitute a resolution setting forth the total overall projected revenue, the ceilings recommended for the county government and the County Assembly, and where necessary, the total sums for each vote and the allocations to the individual programs for the fiscal year in question in accordance with the Standing Order 209, subsection 6. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee hereby proposes that this report together with its recommendations, be adopted and approved by the House pursuant to subsection 117, section 6 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012 and the Standing Order 209, subsection 7. Examination on the County Fiscal Strategy Paper 2022. Mr. Speaker, sir, in reviewing the County Fiscal Strategy Paper for the financial year 2023-2024, the committee held a total of 6 sittings, during which officers from the County Treasury submitted their proposals, which were reviewed. The committee also received submissions from the sectoral committees which formed part of this report as provided under Standing Order 209, subsection 4. Mr. Speaker, turning into the scrutiny of the Nandi County Fiscal Strategy Paper 2023-2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, the County Fiscal Strategy Paper is a budget document that guides the subsequent processes in budget making. It specifies the broad strategic priorities and policy goals that will guide the county government in preparing its budget for the coming financial year and over the medium term. It includes the financial outlook with respect to county government's revenues, expenditures, and borrowing for the coming financial year in the case of 2023-2024 and the medium term. Mr. Speaker, sir, Section 117 of the PFM Act 2012 outlines the contents of CFSP, which includes A, specifications of the broad strategies and policy goals that will guide in budget preparation. B, financial outlook with respect to county government revenues, expenditures, borrowing for the next financial year and medium term. C, total resources to be allocated to individual programs and the projects within the sectors in the county. D, proposed expenditure ceilings for the 2 arms of government. And lastly, financial outlook with respect to the county government borrowing. Mr. Speaker, sir, the underpinning legal provisions and our own standing orders require that report of the committee contain schedule of total overall projected revenues and ceilings recommended for the county government and the county assembly, and where necessary, the total sums of each vote and allocations for each program for the fiscal year in question. These provisions give the county assembly powers to decide on how many resources each the county's sectors and county units take within each financial year. Mr. Speaker, sir, the submitted CFSP for financial year 2023-2024 is divided into 4 chapters, namely Introduction, Recent Economic Developments and Policy Outlooks, County Fiscal Policy Paper, and County Budget Framework. Mr. Speaker, sir, in line with the Constitution, the PFM Act 2012 and the PFM County Government's regulations, the county government has adhered to the provision of recurrent expenditure not exceeding the county government's total revenue, but could not adhere to the principle of Section 25, subsection 1b of the PFM County Government's Regulations 2015, which requires that the county government's wage bills should not exceed 35% of their total revenue. This is so because there has been a continued pressure on wage bill occasioned by CPA agreements for the health sector, SRC, salary harmonization review circulars, and service delivery needs for the default units, coupled with the snail's pace increase in counties' revenue allocation. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to ensure that the county sector ceilings are realistic and within the most achievable resource envelope, the committee would be making recommendations on the same to this House for adoption. Mr. Speaker, sir, the provisions of the Standing Order 209, subsection 3, guide on the procedure of scrutinizing the county fiscal strategy paper once it has been tabled in the county assembly. In this regard, the sectoral committees are integral in ensuring that departmental resources are sufficient within the available limited resources. It is therefore important for these sectoral committees to validate departmental achievements and thereafter they submit their recommendations to the Budget Appropriations Committee. The Budget and Appropriations Committee would wish to thank all the sectoral committees for having created time to review this important document, and we note that their recommendations have been informative towards finalizing this report. Committee findings and Nandi County Fiscal Strategy Paper for 2020 on the Nandi County Fiscal Strategy Paper for 2023-2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, the County Fiscal Strategy Paper, CFSP, is a policy document that specifies the broad strategic priorities and policy goals that will guide the county government in preparing the budget. The CFSP aligns the county objectives to the national objectives. These objectives are set out in the national government's budget policy statement. The county fiscal strategy paper outlines the financial outlook of a county government, including revenues, expenditures, and borrowing for the next financial year and in the medium term. The strategic priorities in CFSP are derived from the national and county government plans such as Vision 2030, medium-term plans, annual development plan, that is ADP, or County Integrated Development Plan, CIDP, and departmental strategic plans, amongst others. Mr. Speaker, sir, the county fiscal strategy paper is linked to the ADP, which is an extract from the County Integrated Development Plan. The CIDP provides strategic policy information for the development of the CFSP and helps in linking the county budget to the county development agenda. To achieve this, the County Integrated Development Plan has to be developed and disseminated to all stakeholders, including the County Assembly. Mr. Speaker, sir, the analysis of CFSP for financial year 2023-2024 is guided by A, adherence to the legal requirement under Section 117 and 107A of the Public Finance and Management Act 2012 and Sections 25 and 27 of the PFM County Governments Regulations 2015. B, relationship of the CFSP to other policy documents. And C, priority and accurate allocation of adequate resources to various departments. Mr. Speaker, sir, in adherence to the legal framework for approving the County Fiscal Strategy Paper 2023-2024, the following is a brief highlight on what the law requires to be done, what was done, and the committee recommendations thereto. Requirement of the law on timelines for submission of CFSP to the County Assembly. Section 117, subsection 1 of the PFM Act 2012 requires the CFSP to be submitted to the County Assembly by the 28th February of each year. What was done on the 28th February 2023, the CCM member in charge of Finance and Economic Planning did submit the Nandi County Fiscal Strategy Paper for financial year 2023-2024. Recommendation by the committee. The CCM member in charge of Finance and Economic Planning should endeavor to continue submitting the document within the legal time framework. This will pave way for timely preparation of subsequent budget documents. Fiscal performance and policy outlook for financial year 2021-2022. County revenue performance for the financial year 2021-2022. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the financial year 2021-2022 financial year, Nandi County government envisioned to spend a total of Kenya shillings 8,965,549,809. Revenue streams that were expected to fund the county budget include cash balances from the financial year 2020-2021 amounting to 989,363,172. Equitable share amounting to Kenya shillings 6,990,869,41 shillings. Conditional allocation from national government and conditional allocation from development partners, Kenya shillings 598,211,166, and locally collected revenue of Kenya shillings 387,106,430. Committee observations. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee made the following observations. A, on local revenue. In the financial year 2021-2022, revised budget estimates for the local revenue was Kenya shillings 387,106,430. The actual local revenue collected amounted to Kenya shillings 287,403,322, representing 74.24% of the approved budget. The shortfall is in local revenue amounted to Kenya shillings 99,119,671 Kenya shillings, translating to 26% shortfall. On national government revenue, that is equitable share. The revenue for the national government consists of equitable share revenue of Kenya shillings 6,990,8 869,041, and the conditional grants of Kenya shillings 598,211,166. The summary of transfers from the national government in the financial year 2021 to 2022 is highlighted as shown in the table below. I hope, I know honorable members, the soft copy was shared, and you're able to see the highlights on the transfers, that is cash release. County expenditure for the financial year 2021-2022. The total expenditure for financial year 2021-2022 was 7,315,568,463 Kenya shillings, against a revised target of Kenya shillings 8,965,549,809, representing an underspending of Kenya shillings 1,649,981,346. The absorption rate of recurrent expenditure was high, amounting to Kenya shillings 5,727,018,326, against approved revised recurrent expenditure of Kenya shillings 6,247,375 shillings, reflecting an absorption rate of 91.28%, that is recurrent expenditure. The absorption of the development expenditure amounted to Kenya shillings 1,579,50,137, against approved development of Kenya shillings 2,691,174,800. This reflected an absorption rate of 59%. Fiscal performance and policy outlook for the financial year 2022-2023 and committee observations. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee made the following observations. On local revenue, in the financial year 2022-2023, revised budget estimates for the local revenue was Kenya shillings 373,234,444. The county, as of 31st October 2022, managed to collect 54,226,917, which represents 14.5% of the target. This collection is quite low compared to Kenya shillings 69,196,201 collected over the same time in the previous year. B, budget implementation for financial year 2022-2023. Budget execution in the first 3 months of financial year 2022-2023 progressed well. The government has embarked on expenditure rationalization and prioritization to ensure that expenditures are on the most impactful programs that yield the highest welfare benefits to Kenyans. Most spending, Mr. Speaker, during the first quarter was majorly recurrent in nature, with employee costs taking a bigger percentage, including a comprehensive medical cover expense for all the staff as an incentive to motivate the staff. Some of the notable challenges faced in the implementation of the county projects and programs included the following: high expectation from the public for development and other socioeconomic programs. 2, outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic and its costly response and containment measures. Delays in disbursement of funds from the national government. Inadequate financial resources. Low domestic revenue collection. And lastly, inadequate policy and legal framework. Mr. Speaker, sir, medium-term strategic priorities. The county fiscal strategy paper for financial year 2023-2024 and over the medium term, while allocating resources, takes into account priorities in CIDP 2023-2027. The county government priority programs and projects in the financial year 2023 include the following. So notably, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, these are the main objectives. A, establishment of Ward Development Fund that is going to be renamed as Nandi County Equitable Share Fund. B, boost agricultural productivity and cooperative development to ensure food security and overall poverty reduction. C, increased investment in healthcare services to ease accessibility of quality health services. D, infrastructural developments in roads, access to clean water by all, investment in early childhood development education, and other educational facilities. Micro, small, and medium enterprise economy, digital superhighway, and creative economy. Good governance, administration, public service, and ICT. And G, tourism, sports, youth affairs, and environmental development, among its other priorities. Lastly, fiscal planning, lands, and environmental conservation. Strategic priority. Number 1, establishment of Ward Development Fund. The county government seeks to promote developmental growth in the wards within the county by providing for the allocation of funds to the ward-based development projects to ensure equitable development across the county 30 wards. The objectives of the ward-based development is to ensure, 1, a framework for participation of residents of each ward to identify priority projects in the county. 2, Mr. Speaker, promotion of efficient and practicable decentralization of functions and services to the county government. The initiation and coordination of community-based development projects and programs at the ward level. Efficient and effective service delivery across the county. A platform to harmonize and ensure equity in the implementation of county development projects and services. Management of county projects in a manner that ensures reduction of bureaucracy in availability of funds and procurement of goods and services. A framework that allows direct funding of county development projects on need basis. Further development of functions and resources of the county government, and to ensure participation and involvement of the county citizenry in management of its affairs pursuant to the Nanti-County Public Participation and Civic Education Act 2021. Channeling of the use of public funds at the lowest level of county, equity in the distribution of the funds within the county, community-driven development and local level participation in the identification, prioritization, implementation, evaluation of development of devolved activities at the ward level, accountability and transparency in the disbursement and use of public resources, self-determination to the community in relation to their socioeconomic development, seeking and receiving grants from national and international entities, the national government and the county government and other relevant organizations to initiate and coordinate community-based development projects and programs at the ward level. And lastly, mechanisms for the county assembly to facilitate involvement of the people in the identification and implementation of projects for funding by the county government at the ward level. Mr. Speaker, sir, the county government wishes to allocate 40% of the total development budget to facilitate the establishment and operationalization of the fund, while the remaining development funds shall be for flagship projects and shall be distributed equitably within the county through the public participations. Additionally, the county government development allocations shall continue alongside the projects funded under the Ward Development Fund and shall be construed to mean that no area may be excluded from any other development programs. The residents of each ward shall identify development projects to be implemented in their respective wards through Ward Project Identification Committee. Mr. Speaker, sir, boosting agricultural productivity and cooperative development to ensure food security and overall poverty reduction. As a priority, the county will focus on construction of completion and fully equipping the Nandi cooperative creameries at Kabiyet. Additionally, the county will promote value addition and agro-processing initiatives through construction of coffee milling factory, establishment of aggregation centers for crop production, carrying out disease surveillance and vaccinations, promote cooperatives, ventures including inputs, marketing, manufacturing, and value addition, and promoting savings and financial services are of some of the strategies that will be put in place to achieve the sector priority. Third, increased investment in healthcare services to allow accessibility of quality health services. In the financial year 2023-2024, the county government seeks to expand and modernize Kapsabet County Referral Hospital with all essential drugs and non-pharmaceuticals with specialized equipment necessary to handle all the health-related cases and complete the equipment and hospital complex with mother and baby. Mr. Speaker, sir, those are the main priorities. Allow me, Mr. Speaker, to proceed because I had actually indicated and stated, and I know honorable members are having that. Allow me go to recommendation, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Fair enough.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, sir, from the proposed budget ceilings in the CFSP 2023-2024, the committee noted that indicated, I hope we are able to just note that. We have the proposed budget ceilings for the financial year 2023-2024, and just for clarity, county executive takes 6.8%, finance and economic planning takes 6.9%, administration takes 5.3% of the budget, health and sanitation takes 36.07%, agriculture and cooperative development takes 8.25%, tourism takes 1.6%, sports 2.3%, education and vocational training 9%, lands and environment 3%, roads and transport 6.2%, trade and investment 3%, and then public service and labor 0.66%, county assembly 9.6%. That amounts to 100. Mr. Speaker, sir, from the proposed budget ceilings in the CFSP 2023-2024, the committee noted and indicated the total budget for financial year 2023-2024 is 7,912,195,116, excluding conditional grants. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members, I would like you to note that this excludes the conditional grants. Yeah. The CCM in charge of finance and economic planning proposes to spend 2,139,318,761. For development, Kenya shillings, that one is actually 27%. And for recurrent is 5,772,876,355, which is 73%. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee makes the following observations and proposed county ceilings. Go back to the recommendation, all that has been captured here. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee urges this House to adopt this report with the following resolutions. Kindly, Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable members, let's note these resolutions. The government fiscal responsibility principle, the committee noted the CCM contravened Section 25 of the PFM regulations by proposing 49.4% of the total recurrent expenditure in the financial year 2022-2023 be allocated for personal emoluments. Therefore, the committee recommends that the CCM should adhere to the 35% ceiling for the wages and benefits as specified by the law. Recommendation number 2. The committee further noted that the CCM contravened Section 107, subsection 2B of the PFM Act by proposing 27% of the total budget in the financial year 2023-2024 be allocated for development expenditure and 73% for recurrent expenditure. It is therefore a resolution of this committee that CCM should adhere to the minimum of 30% of the county government's allocation on the development expenditure as it is expressly in the law in the budget estimates for the financial year 2023-2024. Three, that the CCM member in charge of finance provides an action plan on reduction of personal emoluments to attain the recommended fiscal responsibility principles. As you have seen, there is a challenge in terms of personal emoluments. 4, that the CCM member in charge of finance and economic planning provides allocation of funds for ward-based projects so as to ensure equitable development across the 30 wards in budget estimates for the financial year 2023-2024. And 5, that the CCM member in charge of finance puts in place revenue enhancement measures to boost performance and caution against revenue shortfall by strengthening collection and compliance through continued automation of revenue collection through cashless payments and points of sales, that is POS collection. B, inventory of business enterprises in every urban centers to ensure targeting is evidence-based. And then C, setting personal targets for individual officers through performance contracting and appraisal system. And recommendation number 6, that the CCM member in charge of finance and economic planning budgets for Kenya shillings 97,328,000 for that is individually 2.2 million for each member of County Assembly in financial year 2023-2024 budget estimates for motor vehicle reimbursement, which is a new benefit conferred by SRC via Gazette Notice 8795 published in the Kenya Gazette as noted number 145, dated 27 July 2022. Recommendation number 7, that the CCM in charge of finance and economic planning provides an allocation of an amount of not less than 2% of all the county government annual budget in the budget estimates financial year 2023-2024 to a Nandi County Education Fund. 8, that a total of Kenya shillings 7,912,195,116 is hereby proposed by the committee as the expenditure for the financial year 2023-2024, having taken into consideration Kenya shillings 7,296,637,585 being equitable share, and Kenya shillings 515,195,116 as the county own source revenue. 9, that once approved by this House, these recommendations, together with the committee's recommendation departmental expenditure in the table noted below, should form the basis for 2023-2024 financial year budget. The recommendation is informed by the following committee's directives. 1, the interdepartmental allocation transfers should be made from the county's treasury allocation only for both recurrent and development expenditures. The conditional allocations from the development partners shall not be transferable among its departments. They shall only be allocated for intended projects in their respective departments. 3, only recurrent allocations meant for operations costs be transferable as recommended. Allocations for personal costs should not be transferable among departments. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have the allocation, that is the table below that I read earlier before, and we have various recommendations that shows the recommended recurrent ceilings and recommended development ceilings. So it's clearly indicated, and I would wish that it is noted by honorable members. Lastly, in the annexures, these are the minutes of adoption of the same report, and I beg to move the same, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
You call upon who is supposed to second that report?
Upon honorable.
Honorable Teno. Okay, thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable members, I now propose that this House adopt the report of the County Budget and Appropriation Committee on the Nandi County Fiscal Strategy paper for the year 2023-2024 be discussed. Honorable Matata.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this time. Honorable Speaker, I stand to support the report fully, and I want to congratulate the chairman and the Budget and Appropriation Committee. They have actually done a very good job, and that one, Mr. Speaker, sir, can be proved through the recommendations that the Budget and Appropriation Committee has given. Despite the fact that they noted some weaknesses in that report, they have given out very strong recommendations. And I want to call upon this Honorable House. When the budget estimates will be tabled in this House, anything that will not meet the bare minimum as per the recommendations, we should not allow. Because, Mr. Speaker, sir, when you check the CFS fee, they have given the development vote to 27%. And legally, as per the law, it should not come below 30%. So I'm very happy because the committee has given out very strong recommendations that when we shall be interrogating the budget estimates, the 30% threshold should be met. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, sir, when it comes to the recurrent expenditure, the law allows that the recurrent expenditure should not go beyond 35%. You find that the CCM Finance was raising the figure to 49.9%. Now, the committee has also recommended that we should stick to the law whereby when the budget estimates come, we don't want to know the miracles that the CCM finance will do to cap that thing at 35%. Anything that will go beyond 35%, I want to call upon this honorable house that we shall amend that budget and take the 14% on top to the development, Mr. Speaker, sir. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm happy because you see that the CFSP has captured the equitable development share, which is actually, if operationalized, Mr. Speaker, sir, it will be a plus to the honorable members in this house because the resources now, and I want to laud His Excellency the Governor for accepting to create the equitable share so that all the wards will have their rightful share in terms of development. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I stand to support the report in totality, and we now wait for the budget estimates to make sure that the law will be followed to the latter. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Honorable Tarbe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the report by the Budget and Appropriation Committee, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm kind of shocked, Mr. Speaker, with what is happening, Mr. Speaker. I think it's high time that this House rise to the occasion, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if the report that was submitted to the committee, they are proposing that the recurrent expenditure, Mr. Speaker, be 73% and development come to 27%. Mr. Speaker, I'm wondering what logic they use to arrive, Mr. Speaker. In a county like Nandi, Mr. Speaker, where the wage bill is high, I want to believe the restructuring that we are seeing, Mr. Speaker, some evaluation are being done. Mr. Speaker, if you can see, the report is showing that in the county, our revenue is 14%. Yet, Mr. Speaker, the expenditure in terms of revenue is to cater for the lazy officers, especially in the revenue collection, Mr. Speaker, who are collecting 14%, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think 14% is not even an E, Mr. Speaker. It's a failure, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, if this county wants to save money, Mr. Speaker, I think the revenue officers, Mr. Speaker, should be shown the door, Mr. Speaker, because how are you paid to collect 14%, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, I want to applaud the recommendation by this committee, Mr. Speaker, by raising the standards of that they should not fall below 30% required, Mr. Speaker, in terms of development. So, Mr. Speaker, I believe the CEC member should focus on what is important, Mr. Speaker, because we cannot be relying in the national revenue, because even the money we get for share, for the equitable share allocation, Mr. Speaker, from the national government is revenue collected by the national government. So we should not be relying in the national government, yet in the county we collect barely 14%, Mr. Speaker. Yet we have revenue officers who are being dressed, they are yellow in the towns, Mr. Speaker. They go traumatizing our people. It's either the revenue is collected and diverted to people's pocket, Mr. Speaker, because we cannot be raising 14%, Mr. Speaker. Yet we always see the vehicles branded by county government running up and down, Mr. Speaker, in the county. What are they collecting, Mr. Speaker? Because if it cannot be accounted, Mr. Speaker, we are seeing only 14%. Where is the other percentage going, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, I want to call the Budget and Appropriation Committee and the pick and pack. It's time we need to investigate, Mr. Speaker, because the county cannot be collecting barely 14%, Mr. Speaker, which we expect to do development with this, Mr. Speaker. Otherwise, I support the report, including the recommendation, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Tarbe. Honorable Chelule.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to support the motion. But while I do so, I want to suggest to this House that we need to deal with the bloated workforce. In that respect, I intend to move a motion in this House which will suspend all recruitment and employment of personnel for at least 3 years. I hope this will go a long way in reducing the wage bill down to the desired level of between 30 and 35%. That is my suggestion, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Chelule. I think that is in order. I think that when the time comes, we'll allow you to do the same. But I thank you because you have supported, but suspension will now come in a different motion. Thank you, Honorable Chelule. Honorable Mosbe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also rise to support the report from the committee, but I want to also at the same time raise questions. Particularly, we can now see an improvement of the absorption rate, especially of the development money, to 59%, because I know from some other document, we had the absorption being 49%, so there is an increase of 10%. Now, it appears, much as we may be emotional about the emoluments and the workers, that maybe we should sack, we should reduce the wage bill to between 30 and 35%. But the question again is, as we do that, if the capacity of a county government still remains at 59%, so we save in the personal emoluments, but we are unable again to convert these into development, it will be pointless to want to reduce the workforce, and yet the money will just go back to the treasury. So I would want to say this, that as we talk about these 49%, the finance department should be, over time, be advised by the same committee on how to absorb. There has to be a capacity building in that department so that our county government will be able to absorb the development money. Otherwise, the savings that we are going to get from the personal emoluments will still go back to the national treasury, and it may not necessarily benefit our county government. The other thing is on the sailings. I don't know whether to approve those sailings, because critical departments like agriculture and lands, they are given lower ceilings, and yet we know these are the areas that can easily spur the economic growth in our county. So going forward, I would love to see recommendations where money will go to where our people will get more income. That is the agriculture and even the lands department, where we have issues to do with water and so on and so forth. Otherwise, it is a very comprehensive document, save for, of course, what we are failing to do, like the honorable members have said, on the local revenue. Indeed, the officers in the revenue department are all over Nandi. They are all over the shops. They are all over town, the parking lots. They are all over, even in hospitals. And when you see what is happening there, the officials, or rather the workers in those departments where money is being handled, should thoroughly be investigated, because this money is collected, but it is not ending up in the treasury. Otherwise, the committee should be lauded for going through all those papers in order to come up with such
a beautiful report. Finally, on Ward Development Fund, which we are calling the Equitable Fund, we are seeing the proposal of 40%. And it appears, we are told, the rest of the money will remain on the flagship programs. What happens to a ward like mine, where there is no flagship program, and yet have only been given 40%? I think that is a question that the honorable members should be asking. Otherwise, it will be the same way when devolution started, where a lot of functions were given, say now to the ward, and not enough resources followed the functions that are to be done within the ward level. Otherwise, I support the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to thank the chairman and my team as one of the members of that committee, Honorable Speaker, for this report on CFSP. Honorable Speaker, CFSP is a very important document of the county government, Honorable Speaker, whereby it guides the process of budget making process. After approval in this assembly, Honorable Speaker, the CC Finance and the team will use the report in making the budget going forward, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, when you see the report and the recommendation by the chairman, he specifically mentioned all the critical areas in ensuring that the budget which will come to this assembly will follow the guidelines which has been raised by the assembly. Honorable Speaker, the way Honorable Matata, MCA Kapsabet, has said, we want the CC Finance to follow the guidelines which has been addressed by the assembly, especially on the minimum percentage, Honorable Speaker, as required by the law. And that is a requirement, Honorable Speaker, so that when they will be coming with a budget by 30th April of this month, Honorable Speaker, they will ensure that the budget has captured what has been indicated in the report of the committee. Honorable Speaker, you are aware that we have a lot of flagship projects which has not been completed. And I think they will use the report to ensure that when they will be making the budget, they ensure that all the pending works of all the flagship projects, starting from the hospital, the county referral hospital, the NCC in Kabiet, which at least is at 95%, the textile in Mosoriat, we have a coffee factory in Tindirit, we have the hospitals, the big hospitals in Aldai, in Jepteruai. They ensure that in the budget, this project are ensure that it is completed within this financial year, Honorable Speaker, so that when moving forward, we use the same amount in ensuring that we support the Ward Development Fund, Honorable Speaker. And we're happy that in the report, which will come to this House, His Excellency has accepted that we can share 50-50. That is 50% for Ward Development Fund and 50% for the other flagship project, Honorable Speaker. And the way Honorable Mospe has said, it is very important that when we complete a project like in Kapsabet, Referral Hospital, we can create another flagship project in Aldai, and that the amount of that flagship project will also go to Aldai and all the other parts which has not received the flagship project, so that even can create employment, Honorable Speaker. You are aware our youths are suffering. There's no employment. We have an economic crisis in the country, Honorable Speaker, which requires these mega projects to ensure that it will capture our youths and ensure that they get employment. Like in Capital, Honorable Speaker, when we can employ, let's say, 500 people, Honorable Speaker, we would have at least supported our youth in terms of employment, Honorable Speaker. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, I think a clear mechanism going forward in making the CFSP should be put so that when the document will come to this assembly, it will come to assembly with the right ceilings, with even the right percentage as required by the law, Honorable Speaker. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, I am hoping that when the budget will come to this House, the roads department, which actually, you know, we are experiencing a lot of rains at this time, Honorable Speaker, and the roads are pathetic. We need that the CC Finance should ensure that he allocates the funds, enough funds for the roads department, so that all the roads across the county shall be repaired, Honorable Speaker. And even the town can be tarmac, Honorable Speaker. I think I remember I saw on ATP we will be having some percentage of tarmac roads And I think it's very important that we have tarmac roads in Kapsabet, which is the headquarters of the county, and part of the sub-county headquarters, Honorable Speaker, like in Kabiet. We need even a 1 kilometer tarmac road so that we can ensure that this is a sub-county, Honorable Speaker. Otherwise, I want to thank the chairman and ensure that you follow up the matter so that when the budget will come to this assembly, it ensure that it captures the recommendation that has been addressed by the committee. Otherwise, I support. Thank you.
Honorable members, I've seen we have Honorable Deputy Majority, and then maybe I've seen members so that we can give the Honorable Edwin to give the right of reply before I put the question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise to support the motion and applaud the Budget Department led by the EPO Chair, Mr. Edwin, because of the recommendation. First and foremost, we really thank our governor for seeing it well in the Ward Development Fund, because work will be in a good process in these 5 years. So I urge the all members that let us support this bill. Going forward, we shall do more work in our wards and people will feel tangible work in the ground. Lastly, I really support because of the affairs of the honorable members, that is all MCS are catered in this bill. So I rise to support. Thank you.
Okay, before I've seen the Honorable Whip, I know you are aware that when you want to pass an information or to contribute, you need to stand. So when you switch on your mic, I'm not aware whether it is on accidental or you are prepared. So Honorable Majority Whip, this is your time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity also to echo and to support the motion of today. Indeed, the committee which happened that I'm among, we have done, and we all have a goodwill to this county government of ours, Mr. Speaker, sir. Therefore, it is our responsibility also to support and see that all the revenue that it is being collected, it is utilized. I know, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have been having challenges on modalities on how to spend or how to collect those revenues. But as we speak, Mr. Speaker, sir, it is now clear, it is now the roadmap through our EPO chair has shown us some weak points. So it is upon the whole house to put a mechanism so that we can utilize and make sure that all the revenue is being collected, Mr. Speaker. You see, indeed now we are expecting during the budget process, all those areas must have been captured. We want to increase the revenue. We also have some areas that our honorable member from Kaptuma have just raised a concern in agriculture, whereby the ceiling is not pleasing. But we know, Mr. Speaker, that we also have donor funds, and most of those donor funds come through agriculture. And agriculture, we are all aware that it is not fully devolved. So in this case, I know when the budget process comes, we had the honorable members to scrutinize, and if possible, we should do what we call itemization, because that one will assist us to pass in accordance with the law. Otherwise, I stand to support this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Ezra Kurkungwan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I stand to support this motion in totality, Mr. Speaker. I must recommend the good work that was done by the Budget and Appropriation Committee, led by the chairman, Mr. Speaker. I had so many, Mr. Speaker, so many things to mention that touches on this document, Mr. Speaker. It's only that I'm a bit struggling, Mr. Speaker, on the soft copy given on the phone, because the phones there are a bit small. So going forward, Mr. Speaker, as we digitalize most of these things, it's important for this House to have their laptops in place for us to read with ease. The beauty of this document, Mr. Speaker, lies on the recommendation given by the committee. You know, Mr. Speaker, the recommendations given touches on most of the things that are required as per the PFM Act, Mr. Speaker. As said by Honorable Member Tarbe, Mr. Speaker, 14% collection from own source, Mr. Speaker, is a bit low. Our county government of Nandi, Mr. Speaker, as we normally say in our slogan, as the source of jump jobs, Mr. Speaker, we must have a similar kind of matching in terms of resources, Mr. Speaker. Our county is full of resources. If systems are properly put in place, Mr. Speaker, we will have a lot of revenue in place. The only thing, Mr. Speaker, that I thought will boost our revenue to a higher level, Mr. Speaker, at the beginning of this year, Mr. Speaker, there was a task force that was put in place, Mr. Speaker, on the issues of multinationals across our county, Mr. Speaker. So I thought, Mr. Speaker, with the change in rates from a certain amount to a certain amount, I don't know, Mr. Speaker, should have boosted the revenue in this county, Mr. Speaker. So I'm looking forward to seek a statement, Mr. Speaker, from the Chair of Finance for us to know what were the recommendations given by that task force. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, the issue mentioned by honorable members, Mr. Speaker, on the issues of like 35% that the law requires on wages and salaries, Mr. Speaker, we know it was a challenge that came from far, Mr. Speaker. So it's upon the various departments of revenue, Mr. Speaker, to boost our own source revenue. If we boost our own source revenue, Mr. Speaker, you know, it eases the burden that is there on the issues of personal emolument, Mr. Speaker. And in turn, it will end up reducing the issue of wage bill to the required level. I know it's a challenge, Mr. Speaker. You know, we know our governor, Mr. Speaker, is between a hard rock and a hard service and a rock, Mr. Speaker, when it comes to deciding on whether to send some people home and retain others. You know, it's a hard thing to do, Mr. Speaker. So it's important, Mr. Speaker, for the governor to press a hard button on those various departments to ensure that the revenue collected is boosted from 14% to even 25%, Mr. Speaker. And if that is done, Mr. Speaker, we will at one point ensure that those people who are employed are retained in their various positions for better service delivery in our county, Mr. Speaker. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, the buck stops at the Committee of Budget and Appropriation, Mr. Speaker, on issues that touches on these ceilings, Mr. Speaker. If those recommendations, Mr. Speaker, are not captured in subsequent documents, Mr. Speaker, I will be among the first ones, Mr. Speaker, to oppose those documents in totality. So I stand to support this document today, Mr. Speaker, and I urge the House to adopt the same. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Estera. Honorable Milga Chumba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this chance to contribute. First and foremost, I stand to support this document. I know there is this wage bill in Nandi County. And because of that, I've seen that it has made our Nandi County shine a little bit, because we have seen the revenue now is not as usual. People are working day and night collecting revenue. And that is because they have seen that there is no money and salary will not be there. So if we continue and budgeting these things in an orderly way, and I know all the members and everything we will get in order. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Milka. Now, honorable members, I've seen the members, and I don't know whether in a contract, let me give Honorable Edwin, the chair for budget, to give a right of reply before I put the question. Honorable Gorir.
Members, having contributed to this very important report, I want to, before I even give my final remarks, to also thank the able team of Committee on Budget and Appropriations. I know we did a lot of work and we ensured that we were trying to capture as much as possible. So I want to really appreciate the honorable members for that support. And indeed, we have got many issues that has been touched, especially to do with the recommendations. One is on the issue of revenue. I want to prevail upon all the members of this House that the only way we are going to break even fire development is to ensure that we are capturing and we are having the right move in terms of revenue. I know we have got some challenges, and I'm also happy that the CCM in charge of finance did one day demonstrated to me how he's actually going to raise, because I was really opposed to 515 million that he's proposing to raise this financial year, since we only managed to collect 287 million the previous year. But he told me that he has got the mechanisms and he is trying to seal the loopholes. And if you can see, for the few months, he has actually moved up. So I know that is in the right direction. One thing I would only want to urge the House is that we give maximum support to Committee on Finance, as they also fast-track the issues of coming up or killing the loopholes in terms of revenue leakages. Otherwise, less support, because once we get it right in terms of revenue, I think we will not be able to have budget deficits come the next financial year. Lastly, I also want to say that with the recommendations that we have been given as a committee, we are going to also ensure that we are working hand in hand with the concerned department so that we are able to, as they submit, as the finally budget estimates will be submitted to the House, we will have met the main thresholds, the statutory declarations, that is to do with 30%. But so far, so good. I know the 30%, remember whatever we have been given, they have not been able to receive the grants. And I know that is actually going to address that. So we will ensure that that is done. So otherwise said and done, I want to thank all of you for supporting the motion, and may we proceed. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. I now put the question that this House adopt the report of the County Budget and Appropriation Committee on the Nandi County Fiscal Strategy paper for the year 2023-2024. Will as many of a similar opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, motion.
Honorable Tenor, Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move a motion on adjournment of the County Assembly, that this House, pursuant to Standing Order 29.3, adjourns its sitting and proceeds for recess, which is to commence on 7 April 2023 and end on 8 May 2023, and resume its regular sessions on 9th May 2023 in accordance with the County Assembly calendar approved by the House. Honorable Speaker, you are aware that we approved the calendar in this House, and the calendar states that we proceed for recess, for a short recess, for actually a long recess, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, this period whereby we need to have time to mingle with the electorates, Honorable Speaker, and discuss issues which has affected our electorates, Honorable Speaker, especially at this time whereby we have a lot of challenges and economic crisis, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, IT House to support this motion of adjournment, Honorable Speaker of the House, so that we can proceed for this recess, and we also have some time with, you remember it is already, Honorable Speaker, it is a Good Friday tomorrow, and we have Easter Monday, and we also celebrate when Jesus was crucified on behalf of us, Honorable Speaker, so that we can be saved. So, Honorable Speaker, it's also a very, very important time for members to proceed for this recess and celebrate with our elected Honorable Speaker. I'm aware of most of the members who are Catholics, Honorable Speaker, in this House, and they really value that day, Honorable Speaker. So even me, I will join, and I want to invite members to my place in Kaiboi Parish, Honorable Speaker. We have a really cool celebration in remembering Jesus being crucified, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I call upon Honorable Leader of Minority to support.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, well, I support for this recess. It's part of our calendar, Mr. Speaker. I'm just wondering why Majority Leader is saying that we just breaking for recess to celebrate the holiday. That is not the case, Mr. Speaker. I support the recess because we have so many activities after this. We have report writing, Mr. Speaker. Of course, we have our families. That's number one. Again, Mr. Speaker, we have the people who elected us. At least it's a good time for us. At least we spend.
Honorable Girongo, do you mean that you have not been with your family so all over this period? Okay, okay, you can continue, Honorable Girongo.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'm saying for 1 month, Mr. Speaker, at least, and you know, our children will be at home. They'll be closing their schools. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, they will be with us. That's what I meant, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, we really have a lot of report writings and what have you. So it's good for us, Mr. Speaker. I support. I second. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Girongo, on the leader of majority. Now, honorable members, I now propose that this House to the password of standing order 29-3 adjourn sitting and proceed for recess, which is to commence on 7th April 2023 and end on 8 May 2023, and resume its regular session on 9 May 2023 in accordance with the County Assembly calendar approved by the House be discussed. Honorable members, the floor is open. Honorable Darby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the motion brought by our leader of majority, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, they say work without play make Chuck a dull boy, Mr. Speaker. I know the honorable members have been in session, Mr. Speaker, while balancing also with the work with the electorates at the ground, Mr. Speaker. And I believe, Mr. Speaker, with this recess, Mr. Speaker, it's even, as said by the leader of majority, is a period where Christians value so much, Mr. Speaker. It's Easter holiday. So, Mr. Speaker, it will give an opportunity for the honorable members to even do some self-reflection, Mr. Speaker. And as invited by the leader of majority, we have a sanctuary in Kabiyet, Mr. Speaker, where honorable members can go and renew their spiritual being, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, otherwise, this will also give an opportunity for members to interact with the electorates and at the ground, so that, Mr. Speaker, we know we do the 3 roles, that is registration, representation, and oversight. And, Mr. Speaker, representation means you go and interact with those whom you represent so that you can be able to come up with good bills and motions that represent them equally, Mr. Speaker. So it will give an opportunity for the honorable members to interact with the electorates at the ground, Mr. Speaker. Also, Mr. Speaker, as said by the leader of majority, we have a number of issues to deliberate, a number of reports to write. And, Mr. Speaker, I believe the recess will give us an opportunity maybe for report writing and also to accomplish maybe a few reports here and deliberate on some issues which are pending, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this recess and wish the honorable members a happy Easter, Mr. Speaker, as they go and mingle with their families. I don't know, Mr. Speaker, maybe for those members who may not be with their loved one, Mr. Speaker, it will also be an opportunity for them to look for family members, Mr. Speaker. I know they know themselves, Mr. Speaker, over the Easter holiday. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Darby. Honorable Mosbey.
Mr. Speaker, I also rise in order to support this very noble motion on the proceeding to the recess. It will be a moment, really. I'm an Anglican, although the other speakers have appeared, have implied that it's only the Catholics, but it is basically all the Christians. And even the Muslims, as we speak now, are fasting. And I'm sure during the recess, they'll break. And it is an holiday, so to say, and it shall be a good break. And it shall be a good break so that we also take stock on what has been implemented so far by the executive, by being with our people, visiting various areas. As we speak now, this period has been so packed, Honorable Speaker, to the extent that it has been very difficult to meet the people who gave us this opportunity to be here today. And it was wise that indeed, in our calendar, such a moment is availed. As we speak also, honorable members and our speaker, that even I, being the representative of CAF in the North Rift, we know the other day, one of our colleagues was slain in Kakamega, our neighboring county, and I know his burial, and may his soul rest in peace, is going to take place during this short recess, and I urge members in solidarity, let us go and say pole to our neighbor and our colleague also, who was slain in the cause of duty. It is very sad, and indeed, and that is why today, some members were asking me, why are you in black? And it was in order to stand in solidarity. You can see also the leader of minority. You can see the speaker himself today is in black. And that is in solidarity. Thank you. I support the motion in totality.
Honorable Gogo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also rise to support this motion on adjournment. Honorable Speaker, I think as we approve and adopt this, it will give us chance to go and mingle with our electorates and also have a good time with them to deliberate on the issues which might have, which might have been there before maybe the right time when you are in recess. So, Honorable Speaker, I will say, in as much as Honorable Leader of Majority is saying that we the Christians, but also we want to wish all the very best to our brothers and sisters, Muslim brothers and sisters, Ramadan Kareem, as we also wish ourselves Eastern recess or Good Friday and Easter Monday, that it will give us to be out on our churches and being a part of this holiday. So, Mr. Speaker, I do support in totality. Thank you.
Honorable Esra.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. This is a very important motion, Speaker, for the adjournment, and I stand to support in totality because we are human beings, and once in a while, Mr. Speaker, it's important to break for rejuvenation, for renewal of our energy, in terms of relaxing at home, Mr. Speaker, despite the fact that we know this recess we might have one or two serious issues that touches on reports, Mr. Speaker. It's important, Mr. Speaker, to break for the same. As mentioned by other honorable members, Mr. Speaker, it's a crucial moment, having in mind that in our national calendar, Mr. Speaker, we'll be having the Good Friday and Easter Monday, which is one of the important celebrations that cuts across our religious areas, Mr. Speaker. And for record, Mr. Speaker, as said by Honorable Eloy, Mr. Speaker, that he is welcoming us to the shrine at Kabiyet. It's also important to note that at this region where the leader of minority is coming from, Mr. Speaker, we have Jesus of Tongaren, Mr. Speaker. He will be crucified. He'll be crucified. So it's important for us to... I've seen the preparation, Mr. Speaker, of the cross and others. It's their belief, Mr. Speaker, and it's important to make a visit to the same. I also wish the our Muslim brothers and sisters, led by our beloved honorable member, Salma Faraj. You know, as they enjoy this fasting season, you know, it's important for her also, Mr. Speaker, during we call it the closing and opening, Mr. Speaker, for her to welcome us to celebrate.
Honorable Isra.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Is it only only Muslims to fast even or the Christians?
All of us, Mr. Speaker, are allowed to fast, but because of the timeline that they have at this particular time,
okay,
you know, but it's a very good time, Mr. Speaker, for us to break and do the same. I stand to support this motion for a break and for a record, Mr. Speaker. On 28, Mr. Speaker, during the recess, Mr. Speaker, I'll be having something at my place, so I'll welcome honorable members outside this plenary to discuss the same. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, honorable members. I hope you know, members, this is not a substantive motion, so I don't think that we'll debate a lot. Maybe I'll give Honorable Korir 1 minute, and then Honorable Milka 1 minute before I give all that to say something. Then I'll give you the direction.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My portion of time is that I've just been charging from the mood. I would kindly beseech upon you that you put the question.
No, Honorable Korir, now you are now denying another chance, and I'm not charging of the mood of the House. Honorable Milka.
Speaker, I also stand to support this adjournment. Just to remind ourselves about why recess is there. Actually, we know that we are going for the report writing and to stay at home and do some other things. But I would like to say that as we are farmers, let us be at the lead to show our electorates that we are really farmers. For example, we have seen our majority leader, what he was doing, and MCF from Sangalo Geplonik. So, members, let's go and do it as soon as possible because we don't want, we want our people to have food. That is Kenya Kwanza.
Thank you, Honorable Milka. Now, honorable members, before I proceed, maybe I can donate 1 or 2 seconds to Honorable Mosbey before to pass a word before I give Honorable Walder.
Now, honorable members, I've risen again just to mention about our slain colleague in Kakamega. He'll be laid to rest on 22nd April. That's the information. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mosbey. Now, Honorable Walder.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think I don't have much to say, Honorable Speaker, only that the way honorable members have agreed that as we proceed for this recess, we still have some pending documents, Honorable Speaker, like the CIDB, we have the ADB, which actually I think will also complete those documents on time because they are very important documents which has timelines, Honorable Speaker. So we'll use this period again to ensure that we complete these documents, Honorable Speaker. Otherwise, without much ado, Honorable Speaker, I want to wish members happy Easter holidays. I want to wish our brothers and sisters Muslim, Sahum Makbul. Thank you so much. God bless. Thank you.
Okay, Honorable Majority, Sahum Kabul, I don't know that one, Honorable Majority. I don't know whether it is functioning, but we'll only allow you because you have said. Now, Honorable members, calendar standing order 29.3, on the date when the County Assembly schedules to adjourn to a day other than the next normal sitting day, in accordance with the County Assembly calendar, the leader of majority party or the leader of minority party or another member of the County Assembly Business Committee shall move a motion of adjournment which shall be debated for not more than 3 hours, after which the County Assembly shall adjourn without question vote. Next order.
Order number 10, adjournment.
So members, being no any other business, this house adjourned as per the motion of the majority leader.